Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the first course of a series of courses that cord plant therapy has in store for the training of those who are interested in this flagship. So today I'll be talking about easy care houseplants, some introduction and basic care, how we're going to maintain a plant that you have already brought home or to your office, and how to choose the correct plants. If you go to a nursery, you'll be overwhelmed because there are so many plants to choose from, but there are certain important criteria that we need to remember when we are selecting plants for growing in your offices. So not all plants can grow in shades, so your office does not receive direct sunlight. So this is an important criteria that you have to think of. So first thing, we have to choose a plant that can tolerate low light. Okay, most of our offices do not receive direct sunlight. Okay, it can range between bright light to medium light to low light. So the plant that you choose must be able to tolerate low light. Okay, and secondly, these plants should be able to thrive in bright indirect light. So I'm emphasizing indirect light again, and this light has to be natural light. It means it comes from the sun, but it is not the sunbeam hitting directly on your plant. But the area that you're going to put your plant must receive bright direct light if you are aiming for your plant to be thriving. And thirdly, it has to be those plants that are resistant to pests. Okay, I'm talking on the aspect of those who are beginners and who are just about to be interested in plants. So we are going to select plants that are easy, and this easy means these four criteria. And thirdly, they are resistant to pests, and lastly, they will require infrequent watering. Okay, when they require infrequent watering means that you don't have to every day hover over your plants and be very busy with just maintaining your plants, because we have other official matters to take care of. We are not here just to take care of plants. Okay, some emphasis on indirect light. What is indirect light? Okay, is it light that comes from your electrical light? No, okay. It has to be natural light. Natural meaning it comes from the sun, not from light switch. But it is indirect because the sunbeam does not hit the plant directly. It is getting a lot of light, but not direct sunlight, but it is still bright. Okay. Then indoor natural light, which means it is an indoor natural light, and usually this would mean placing your plants near the window, and you may have to just open the blind slightly to let the sunlight or the natural light go into your room. Okay. Then having said that, on indirect light, okay, some plants, not all, some, okay, you learn as you are more skillful with your plants. Some house plants can tolerate mild early morning direct sunlight. Okay, early morning meaning it depends on season as well. Some during the very hot seasons like now, 10 a.m. is already very hot and scorching. So we would rather put our plants in during the time before 10 a.m. if we were to put it in direct sunlight. But if it is December, whereby it is always raining, you can maybe place it in a place in an area whereby it gets sunlight maybe until 11 a.m. So you will have to find out for yourself what scorching means. If it is scorching even 9 a.m., try to pull it away from that kind of heat. A lot of indoor house plants are hybrid plants, but the species do exist in nature, and usually in nature there are certain areas where these plants live. Okay, so if you look at where they usually live or grow in nature, usually they will grow as understory plants. For example, ferns. Ferns, a lot of ferns like bird's nest ferns, they are now being grown as indoor house plants. And if you look at these kind of ferns in nature, usually they will live within branches, big branches of a very big tree, and it is usually under a very dark shade under a very big tree. Okay, so they grow as understory plants, and many of these plants are epiphytes. Okay, these ferns that bird's nest ferns, the pokok langsui, they are actually epiphytes. Epiphytes mean they are not parasites, they just live on a tree. Okay, they make their own food, they don't suck on the nutrients from the tree. The tree just serves as a host, but these plants, the ferns, they make their own food, and they just want to be on top of the tree. Okay, and in these conditions, these plants usually will not get direct sunlight. It's either they get a bright light but is under a shade, but sometimes they do get some direct sunlight, okay, but in a form of dappled sunlight. Okay, you can see here in this picture a lot of dappled sunlights are hitting the plants, the understory plants. Okay, so most of them do not get direct sunlight. So if we understand how these plants grow in nature, then we will understand why these plants are suitable as indoor house plants. Let's look at some plants that are epiphytes, as I mentioned just now. Okay, over here on this left, the left here is a bird's nest fern. Okay, and it is snuggling in between large branches of a tree, so it is an epiphyte. Okay, another popular plant, which is the lipstick plant. Okay, the scientific name is Escananthus. So this is also an epiphyte. So that's why you can find it climbing, or rather it actually originates on top of the tree between the large branches, and then it creeps downwards. Okay, and another one is a Hoya. Okay, Hoya is also an epiphyte, and you can find it climbing around tree trunks or branches, and they actually originate. Okay, they start usually the seedling will start off within the large branches of a tree. Another group of plants that are suitable for as indoor house plants are the climbers. When I say climbers, that means they originate from the ground below the tree, and once they found a tree trunk, they will start climbing upwards. Okay, example is the monstera. Okay, I'm sure everybody have heard of this plant. Okay, but if you have never heard of this, we do have one grown on the ground floor and one grown on the first floor at the lobby. Okay, so monstera is a climber. Okay, it gets to be very, very big once it is climbing higher and higher. And another one is the popular golden pothos. Okay, so we usually see them with small leaves. Okay, but once they start climbing, just like any other climbers, once they start climbing, as they grow taller and taller, climbing higher and higher on top of a tree, so the leaves start to become bigger and bigger, and sometimes they even have splits, just like the monstera. The bigger they become, the more split leaves they become as well. Okay, and of course there's a bird's nest fern here. This is not a climber, this is an epiphyte. Let's look at some examples of the species suitable as indoor house plants. I'm giving examples, okay, because these are those that I have grown, and that means I have grown them, they are tested and they are confirmed to be hardy, okay. First in the list would be the devil's ivy, or sometimes we call it golden pothos. Okay, there are many variants of this pothos. The picture I've shown you here is the golden pothos. Why it gets its golden, the name golden, is because if it gets a lot of bright sunlight, not direct, bright sunlight, the leaves will become more and more variegated, and the variegation is not white, it is actually more towards golden color. So this species, full scientific name is Epipremnum aureum. Okay, you get other variants of this Epipremnum aureum as well. The marble queen, and I think there's also enjoy pothos. The shape of the leaves are the same, but it's just the pattern on the leaves may be slightly different. Okay. I've put this first in the list because if you look at the name, it's devil's ivy. Okay, the devil means that it is very, very hardy. Okay, whatever you do with it, if you overwater it, if you forgot to water it, maybe 2 or 3 days, it may appear as though it's dying. But when you if it is overwatered, if you let it dry after a week or so, it tends to live again. And then if you underwater it, that means you let it dry for a few days, and you suddenly realize that this plant looks like it's dying, and then suddenly after you water it, it flourished back up. Okay, it looks as though nothing has happened. Maybe you will lose some leaves because they've been dry for a few days, but they are very resistant to dying. So that's why the plant is named as devil's ivy. The word devil means it is very hardy and resistant. Okay, so that's why this is the first in the list. And the other thing is, this is a very prolific grower. So if you are the type who likes to look at plant growing very fast, this plant will grow beautifully and very prolific for you if you provide enough fertilizer and enough sunlight, bright indirect sunlight. Next in line, and one of my favorite species is the philodendrons. Okay? There are so many variants in this philodendron group of plants. And the pictures I'm showing you here are all from my own collection. And I love them so much. Okay? This is the first one in the list, which is the philodendron moonlight. I'm not sure why it's called moonlight. Perhaps it's because it's the light green or the lemon green color of the new leaves. Don't you think it's nice? Because you will see a lot of green variation. The darker green will be the old leaves, and the new leaves will be like a lemon lime color. So they are so beautiful, they are so resistant to diseases and pests, and they are so easy to care for. And they are beautiful. Okay, that's it. I can't say anything more. Another philodendron is the philodendron hederaceum. With this hederaceum species or variant, there are many sub-variants as well. You get this one that is in the picture is the hederaceum Brazil. You will see that there is like a yellow color pattern in the middle of the leaf here, in the in the rib section here, and sometimes the variant turns lime green as well. Okay, and you also get hederaceum lemon. I can't remember. I think it's lemon lime something. But the color, all the leaves will be this color. Okay, lemon lime, and it's very beautiful as well. And there are other variants with velvety leaves and the normal heart-shaped leaves. These are all hederaceum. Many variants, and all are very hardy. Prolific grower, very hardy, resistant to pests, very easy to take care. Okay.